When handling a potential crisis as a leader within an organization, there are generally several factors that need to be considered. These factors include which would be more effective, whether or not the decisions would impact the company, and even if the decision you make could impact your standing within the company. Thus, possibilities are nearly endless. As leaders, we need to analyze the situation, compile our options, and act as swiftly as possible. One of the key elements of being a leader is possessing conflict resolution skills. It is the leader's responsibility to mitigate the conflict in as best a way as possible and identify the most optimum solution. To do this, the leader should have a firm understanding of what the conflict and the people involved. Additionally, the leader should have a grasp of their own emotional state. There are many qualities that a leader should possess when addressing a conflict. Conflicts, if not addressed correctly, may get worse as time goes on. During the simulation, there were various situations that occurred requiring swift action and quick decisions. As leaders of the Plymouth Corporation, we were faced with a situation regarding a salmonella outbreak. While the information was not immediately evident that the organization had anything to do with the outbreak, the possibility still existed. As such, steps need to be taken to avert the situation while maintaining a positive appearance to the public and to mitigate the potential damage to the organization. The way leaders manage conflict may either benefit the organization or cause damage to the relationships of the people within the organization as a result, harm the company. There were 10 key leadership actions that were taken during the simulation at separate points during the crisis. These decisions affected whether the public view of the organization remained high or decreased. Additionally, it also had the effect of whether the product we were attempting to release was going to be ready or if we needed to postpone it. The simulation gave us a balancing act of a positive or negative public appearance and monetary gain or loss. The first situation I was faced with was regarding the initial salmonella incident and the breaking news. The question remained on whether or not to concern ourselves with the situation, keep the information secret from the employer, or take preemptive action to see if we were involved. I chose to take preemptive action. There'd be no point in hiding it from the organization's leader since the information was on the news, and not taking any action would make us seem incompetent since the possibility did exist that we were at fault. I chose to contact the Food Safety Authority immediately to find out what they knew. The preemptive action caused the company's social sentiment and product launch momentum to decrease. Regardless, the action was the right thing to do, as eventually everything gets leaked to the public. Once the public found out, the consequences may have been worse. The second situation involved who to notify regarding the crisis. Thomas wanted to contact Miranda Casey, then contact Anthony afterward. My response was to allow Thomas to do things in the order he saw fit. Contacting Anthony would reduce the momentum of the product launch and social sentiment. This is due to the possibility that a leak could occur. In contacting Miranda first, Anthony would see that we have taken preemptive action, which would increase social sentiment. Unfortunately, regardless of what was done, the product momentum would still decrease. In the third situation, I needed to decide whether or not to issue an immediate recall of any and all of our plant-based meat products. If I were to issue the recall, then the organization would lose a lot of money as a result due to the amount of food waste, transportation, and refunds that need to be paid to the customer. However, as a result, public opinion would become more positive due to the company's concern for the customer over the costs. If I were to not issue the recall and the company was found out to be at fault for the outbreak, public opinion would drop significantly, and the resulting scandal would deal significant damage to the company's future business prospects and reputations. I chose to recall the products as it would be more beneficial in the long run to protect the customers over protecting profits. In the fourth question, I was faced with a situation where Anthony wanted to disassociate himself and the company from the outbreak and deny all involvement. He strongly believed that our products could not possibly be the cause of the incident, and thus we should focus on the release of the product. I chose to be cautious, as outright denying any involvement only to be proven wrong in the future would undoubtedly harm the company. in the long run and cause heavier negative consequences as a result of the lower social sentiment. The fifth situation found us being contacted by the media. They were reaching out for a comment regarding the recent outbreak. As the one in charge of leading the response, I was responsible for communicating with the media and diffusing the situation while the organization was conducting its own internal investigation. The recommendation that I suggested we do was to issue a brief holding statement that we were performing an internal investigation. Since our information was fairly limited, we needed to be careful with what was said. The media could take anything we said and twist into something that could paint us in a negative way. However, saying nothing at all could be worse. As a result, the best option would be to feed information to the media in small increments as it becomes available. To only give them accurate information once it's been confirmed and not say possibilities or untruths. The next situation occurred in episode 3. Here, I was faced with the possibility of canceling the release of the product or maintaining its momentum. Given the situation we were facing, I opted to cancel its release due to the high risk factor involved with the current situation. If we were to release the product immediately, the negative association of the product in the public's mind would ultimately cause the launch to fail. Even if we were to find out that the organization had nothing to do with the outbreak, it could still result in failure and social sentiment would decrease. The time was just not right. The next situation showed that both the media and social media were causing our employees' anxiety to increase. Additionally, there was a meeting with City Hall scheduled to answer questions and reveal what actions the organization was taking in response to the situation the following day. The best choice I came up with was to follow through with the meeting and reveal whatever confirmed information was available. As stated previously, it is critical to remain transparent but be selective of what information was disclosed. Transparency would increase the public's opinion of the company while still maintaining the momentum of the launch of the product. The momentum would be maintained because the public's nerves and uncertainty would be mitigated slightly. The eighth situation that I was faced with regarding this incident showed that Miranda was continuing with her investigation on the matter and had contacted me for information on our suppliers, protocols, and anything that may be of assistance to her. My answer was to continue digging deeper into the situation and find out if something went wrong somewhere between the origin of the product and its delivery to the company. While the organization is known for being safe, going so far as to specify the awards the company has earned regarding its safety protocols, there is always a possibility that something went wrong somewhere down the line. As a result, withholding any information or being reluctant in any way could cause the public's opinion and the product momentum to decrease. Focusing on uncovering the truth and providing the information to the public as soon as possible is what would work to boost both indicators. The ninth situation showed that the organization is being mocked on social media. Someone had posted that her new husband of only a week was in the hospital due to the salmonella outbreak. The Plymouth Corporation was being blamed for everything and accused of remaining silent. My response to this tweet was to remain compassionate. I needed to give an authentic and thoughtful response to calm down the masses and assure them that we are with them in this troubling time. Additionally, we need to ensure that they understand that we are doing everything we can to investigate and source out the root of the outbreak so that we may prevent it from happening again in the future. The 10th and final situation that I was faced with up to this point in the simulation was regarding the immediate status of Miranda's investigation. She had determined that the products were shipped to us by one of our Indonesian suppliers. Solo Quality Foods was apparently worried about losing their contract with us due to their inability to complete our order. So they contracted another supplier to assist with the request. The other supplier's standards of quality were not up to the standard that our organization maintained, resulting in some tainted products being mixed in with the good products. Unfortunately, due to this scandal, Solo Quality Foods would not survive the backlash. Quality goods and sourcing is a critical component to managing a business. If the goods do not have a safe source, then the public could be placed at risk. Queen 2019. While the source of the issue has been discovered, there is still the possibility that there is more information to be discovered. As a result, Miranda is going to continue her investigation while I prepare for the incoming live interview the following day. One element of this situation that is constant is that the organization is reliant on the leadership of the player to guide through this the national crisis. The crisis has been shown to affect not only the organization's success and profits, but the health and safety of the public. The leadership problem that I am attempting to solve in my portfolio project is the leader's ability to build trust and respect and learn to instill a sense of motivation among their teams. As the situation continues to unfold, it is continuously escalating, causing the company to look worse and worse. Trust and respect among the organization, its associates, and the public who purchase their goods becomes strained, and if handled incorrectly, could result in complete organizational collapse. It is determined that Solo Quality Foods is already on the brink of collapse due to the current results of the investigation. As a result, our organization is steadily approaching that same conclusion. As a leader, I need to formulate the best course of action, COA, to ensure the public's opinion does not shift any further into the red, while trying to maintain the organization's momentum. Trust and respect are incredibly important between an organization and the public they serve. As such, without trust and respect, the company is doomed to fail. Additionally, I need to ensure that whatever I say to the public, the organization is actually doing. Ensuring the words and actions of the organization match will help to boost public trust. Unity Training and Development 2023. The way leaders manage conflicts may either benefit the organization or cause damage to the relationships of the people within the organization and as a result harm the company. Komeli and Shikomahari, 2021. Trust, respect, and motivation are important components of leading a team. Without trust and respect, no one will want to follow the leader, and as a result, the organization will suffer. The simulation placed us in an incredibly precarious situation that could lead to either the company's survival or ultimate downfall, depending on the emotional intelligence of the person in charge and their skills of conflict management and problem solving. The idea that social media can also severely affect an organization's public image is also critical due to the fact that people now possess smartphones and can view that information from anywhere at any time. Tranenthal, 2022. Realizing that a short-term monetary loss was better than using future business made it even easier to determine the best COA. Mulaney, 2017. It is better to lose money in exchange for boosting public opinion as the future business will ensure the organization's longevity and sustainability. Leaders must understand the situations that they are faced with and use that information to determine the most optimal solution to the problem.